So I would like to welcome everyone today. We have Emily Paige Mork with us, who is a registered dietitian, and she's going to talk to us about antioxidants. And I would just like to thank you on behalf of all of us at the Wellness Program and Carpenter Hospice for coming. So Emily, take it away. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Charlene. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Emily Paige Mork, and I'm a registered dietitian and certified intuitive eating counselor. I am based out of Toronto, and it's great to be here virtually. So again, thanks for having me. I'm going to be talking to you about some benefits to antioxidants today and talking a lot about the pillars of a healthy diet. There we go. Okay, so a little bit about me. As I said, I'm a dietitian based out of Toronto, and I'm a certified intuitive eating counselor. So I graduated from university in 2018, and I got my license to become a dietitian in 2019. So I'm pretty new to this field. Presently, I work virtually from home, and I take clients and I help them overcome restrictive food behaviors and negative body image through plant forward and gentle nutrition. Plant forward is kind of like a plant-based diet without labels. So I encourage eating a plant-based diet. However, I do still enjoy a good burger, a good steak every now and then. So for today, what I'm going to go over with you is we're going to review the healthy diet principles. We're going to touch on nutrition care and cancer before I give you a little bit of a biochem lesson where we learn about free radicals and then the antioxidant nutrients and their individual impacts in our body. We're going to talk about some special considerations. We'll go over a review, and then we'll have some time at the end for question and answer period. Okay, so just a little disclaimer before I get started. We've got a voice note going. Sorry, I'll just wait until that's over. There we are. Okay, so just a little disclaimer, as I said, the information provided in this presentation is for educational and entertainment purposes only. The dietary recommendations discussed are not a replacement for individualized care and may not fit into your current treatment plan. So always consult your doctor and your healthcare team before making any changes. All right, we'll get right into it. So these are the four main pillars of a healthy diet. So when I'm assessing somebody's diet, these are kind of where I will start to look at. So moderation, this is my area of expertise. This is kind of what I deal with as a certified intuitive eating counselor. So moderation, we want to make sure that we have a little bit of fun in our diet as well. It can't be all vegetables all the time. So the moderation is good for the soul. It's my favorite part. So then we have balance, and our balance makes sure that we have enough moderation in our diet, as well as making sure that we're getting everything that we need in terms of macronutrients and micronutrients, which I will get into a little bit later in the presentation. But I do want to touch on Canada's Food Guide, because I think it does a really great job at outlining the balanced plate. So the balanced plate, you'll see, has half of fruits and vegetables, a quarter protein foods, and a quarter of whole grains. And to sum it up, this should equal adequate intake as long as most of our meals follow this kind of balanced plate method. So for the purposes of today's presentation, I'm going to be focusing a lot on adequacy and variety. It's very important, obviously, and is achieved through balance. Okay, so adequacy and variety. When we talk about adequacy, calories or energy might be the first thing that comes to mind. And our energy intake is made up of fat, carbohydrate, protein, and protein. So it's the chemical bonds as they are broken during metabolism that we are able to extract energy from. So while that's very important, we want to make sure we have enough micronutrients as well. So when we have our saturated fat, our unsaturated fat, simple carbohydrates or complex carbohydrates, they are all various forms that we still need to ensure that we are getting enough of. So this is where antioxidants come into the picture, because we need them in small amounts here and there to make sure that everything is functioning properly. Okay. So nutrition in cancer care is actually a very, very complex topic, because it's highly individualized and dependent on a variety of factors. So 3 main causes of cancerous cells typically are environmental, lifestyle, and genetic factors. And although a small percentage of cancers are considered to be genetic in cause, all cancers impact all of our genes and therefore impact our DNA. So our cellular health is incredibly important in maintaining that cell health. So our cells can become at risk when they fail to differentiate, when they're unable to protect their DNA, and when they lose the ability to undergo apoptosis. So cell differentiation is very important, because that is what forms all of our different types of systems. So whether it be our respiratory system or our digestive system, we have a variety of types of cells that must undergo differentiation so that they can function properly. Next, it's very important to protect our DNA, because the DNA is almost like a blueprint. So the cell knows how to grow and how to function. So we want to make sure that that stays intact. And finally, to undergo apoptosis. Apoptosis is kind of like an abort mission when the cell realizes that there is something wrong. So if we lose that ability, the cell can continue to grow. And that's obviously puts us at risk. So therefore, antioxidants protect the cell from oxidative stress. It maintains healthy cell function and prevents damage to the DNA. So we love antioxidants. Antioxidants are able to do this by donating electrons to stabilize the free radical. So when we look at these 2 different atoms, we will see, so left, we have a stable atom, and this one has a pair, completely paired in their electron shell. So you will see here that the unpaired atom is not stable, because it's always looking to pair up this last electron here. And that's where antioxidants really come into play. Oxidative stress is a state caused by a buildup of free radicals or unstable atoms. And it occurs as a natural part of metabolism. When those bonds break apart, that's when those electrons can get released and where they need to be uptaken by something else. Otherwise, this state of being in constant oxidative stress can really impact the lipids of your cell membrane, so the outside part of your cell that holds all of the contents. It impacts the transport abilities of lipoproteins. So lipoproteins are very important for absorption and digestion, and again, alters the DNA in the nucleus of the cell, so it can make that blueprint just be wrong. So how does a state of oxidative stress happen, you might ask? And it's because pairing a free radical can often create a free radical. So stabilizing a free radical requires an unpaired electron, but to get an unpaired electron, we need an electron by itself. Electrons that are unstable, atoms that are unstable or that have an electron by themselves are highly volatile and very reactive. So it's very hard to find one on its own that doesn't need to be stabilized again. And that's where antioxidants come in, because they can donate those electrons. Vitamin C does a really great job at explaining this. So if we look over here, we have our hydroxyl groups. So we have this OH on the end. The H is the electron. So the electron will go away and be able to quench 2 free radicals. Then you'll notice, excuse me, then you'll notice that this bond breaks apart to be able to stabilize itself. So we don't need any more electrons to fulfill this shape's electron shell, because the bond is able to do it. So all antioxidants actually have this feature. You can just see it best in vitamin C, so I chose to show it to you that way. So vitamin C is probably one of the most notorious antioxidants. So I figured I would start with that one. It's very important in our bone health. It's a cofactor for collagen. So we need that for our bones, we need that for our teeth, and we need that for our skin. And it's also very important for the formation of amino acids, which we need for proteins. And finally, it acts as a protective element for trace minerals. So here, I put a little weight as a representation for iron. Vitamin C and iron are together for a reason. You might hear your dietitian or your doctor say that you should pair your iron supplement or your iron-rich foods with a source of vitamin C for absorption, and that is absolutely true. So they are both water-soluble elements, and you'll notice that iron reacts with oxygen to form rust, and that's in terms of the hard metal iron. So if you think about how hard iron is, you really want to make sure that that integrity is maintained. You don't want the rust to cause the iron to be more brittle. The same thing happens with the quality of iron in our body. So vitamin C is paired with iron for absorption to protect it from oxidization. Iron is incredibly important in our blood health, so we want to make sure that it is in the proper form. So our food sources of vitamin C, it's not just oranges and it's not just fruit. So citrus fruit is definitely a very good source. We have oranges, we can do limes, lemons, grapefruit. All of those are very great sources. Then we have bright vegetables. So bell peppers of any color, those have fantastic vitamin C. Broccoli also has fantastic vitamin C, and strawberries or cantaloupe, really any sort of plant at this point. We want to make sure that we're getting lots of plants. Okay, moving on to vitamin A. So vitamin A is very important in our eye health, which I'm sure you've heard before, but it's because of this substance called beta carotene. Beta carotene is the orange, deep yellow kind of pigment that we all know to be good for our eyesight. So in terms of vitamin A, we want to make sure that we're getting enough sources that are plant-based and animal-based. Our animal-based sources for the retinoids, those are what are really good for our eyesight. And then beta carotene helps that to work effectively in our retina. Then the carotenoid, beta carotene, is very important for cell differentiation, which we know helps our systems actually form and function properly. Our sources of a vitamin A include, again, deep, rich, and dark green vegetables. So we have bright carrots, we have some dark green kale, and then we have our retinoids over here. Oops. Then we have our retinoid sources over here, which include fish oils, eggs, and we have milk. So it's very important here to include a source of fat for absorption, as vitamin A is a fat-soluble antioxidant. Okay, so skim milk, for example, would not be a very good source of vitamin A, as it doesn't have the absorptive quality that a 2% or a whole milk would have. Okay, vitamin E, it's also known as alpha tocopherol. So there are tons of different names for all of these different antioxidants, and we want to make sure that we're having them in the right forms. So there's also beta tocopherol, there's also gamma tocopherol, but alpha tocopherol is the form of vitamin E that has the antioxidant properties. So if you are taking a supplement or looking at a supplement, make sure that you're getting alpha tocopherol for this one. So vitamin E has three main roles. It's our primary defense against free radicals that are fat soluble. So how vitamin C and iron go hand in hand, vitamin E and other fat soluble substances are protected. Second, it prevents the oxidation of polyunsaturated fats, which are extremely good for our health, and it stops the chain reaction that occurs to produce more free radicals. So if we remember that pairing a free radical can sometimes mean causing a new or creating a new free radical, vitamin E is able to stop that from continuing to form more and more free radicals. So it's a really good one to have. So here we have our sources of vitamin E as well as our sources of polyunsaturated fat. So as I mentioned with iron and vitamin C, Vitamin E and polyunsaturated fats are almost always paired together for protection. Polyunsaturated fats are super volatile and reactive, and they can go rancid very easily. So we have our vegetable oils. So we have canola, olive, sunflower, corn, any sort of vegetable oil will have a great source of vitamin E. It's also really common to pair vitamin A and vitamin E sources as they're both fat soluble. Margarine is another fantastic source of vitamin E as long as it is non-hydrogenated and made with plant sterols. You can see that right on the label. We have whole grains and a variety of nuts and seeds as well to get your vitamin E intake in. Sunflower seeds are great, almonds are great, walnuts, hazelnuts, all of them. And finally, we have selenium. So selenium is just a trace mineral, but it is included as an antioxidant mineral because it is able to act as a substitute for amino acids to build that protein. So it is actually able to protect your proteins from the inside out and support the mechanism of other antioxidants. It's found in soil and the produce that is grown in that soil. So luckily in Canada, our prairie provinces have very selenium-rich soil, so all of our homegrown whole grains and legumes, those are all very rich in selenium sources. So eat more plants, I guess, is the moral of the story here. If you want to follow a plant-based diet or a plant-forward diet, however you want to get them in, just eat more plants. There are plenty more trace minerals along with selenium that have important roles in our body, such as like zinc, copper, magnesium, and I talked a little bit about iron, but they are all extremely important in metabolism and blood health. We also have many more phytochemicals that I didn't even touch on. So we can have like xanthocyanins, which is like that deep purple color in like red cabbage. That's very nutritious for you. And other flavonoids, whether it be in teas, like the tannins in teas are fantastic for you. The possibilities are really endless when it comes to phytochemicals, and you can get them from all plants that you eat. And finally, fiber is very important for our gut health to make sure that everything is moving smoothly. So the more plants that you have, the more adequate and balanced your diet is, the more variety you're going to have, and the more room for moderation. So a few special considerations that I just wanted to touch on considering hospice care. I find that a lot of cancer patients can have these three symptoms that can be real barriers to getting enough adequate intake in. So xerostomia, or a dry mouth, is a huge barrier to being able to swallow. So sipping on water, sucking on ice cubes, some sugar-free gum or sugar-free candy can really help getting that lubrication started. If not, an actual oral solution might be needed. Early satiety or feeling full very quickly is also very common. I talk to my clients about this a lot often as well, but the key here is to really eat small, frequent, energy-rich meals and snacks whenever you feel like it. And then finally, we have dysgeusia, which is like an altered taste or altered sense of smell that can make even your favorite foods not taste very good. So the most common taste that I tend to hear about is like a metallic kind of taste. So avoiding any sort of metal container or cutlery and opting to either like pour the beverage into like a glass or using like plastic cutlery, just little things like that might actually really help. Okay, so to review, our antioxidants donate electrons to stabilize free radicals. Free radicals must be stabilized in order to prevent oxidative stress. Oxidative stress can cause damage to our cell membranes and DNA, so it is very important that they are protected. They are protected through the pillars of a healthy diet, which are adequacy, variety, balance, and moderation. So we have our water-soluble and our fat-soluble antioxidant nutrients. We want all of those beautiful food sources to fit onto our balanced plate. So we want to make sure that we're getting plenty of vitamin C, which includes citrus fruits, bright colored vegetables, and any other fruit and vegetable as well. We want to make sure that we're getting enough selenium because It's very important for our protein health, and we want to make sure that we are eating a lot of vegetables that are grown in soil that is rich in selenium. Selenium is also found in seafood, but it is more antioxidant. It has more antioxidant properties in the plant form because there's so many more phytochemicals that come along with it. Then we have our fat-soluble antioxidant nutrients, which are vitamin A. We want to make sure we have a lot of beta carotene. So this nice deep orange carrot. We've got some dark leafy greens, fish, milk, and eggs. And we want to make sure that vitamin A has a source of fat with it. And vitamin E, or our polyunsaturated fats, include vegetable oils, non-hydrogenated margarines, whole grains, and almonds. Vitamin C is our primary defense against oxidation of water-soluble substances. And selenium protects our proteins to help our antioxidants work from the inside out. Vitamin A is key for cell differentiation and eye health. And vitamin E is our primary defense against oxidation of fat-soluble substances. Thank you so much for coming today. I hope you learned something that you didn't know about antioxidants. And now we'll jump into a quick Q&A.
Okay. So Emily, I just want to thank you again for being part of our wellness program presentation today. We are so grateful for all your information on antioxidants. And just so everyone knows, the link for this is going to be available on the wellness program YouTube playlist, which will also be available on Facebook. And so thank you again, Emily.
Thank you.
We'll look forward to having you back again soon.
Perfect.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.